Dan Moriarty. Welcome to this week's TNN Motor Madness. Now, last week, you thought those steering wheel guys were nuts? Forget about them. This week, guess what? Pro Quads and Thunder bikes. In a flash, here's what happened last week. Now, this week, a guy named Tim Farr, who drives the Pro Quads, guaranteed a season championship. In the off season, you said you guaranteed I'm going to win it this year. If you pull this off, you know, you're going to become the Joe Namath of this sport. You understand that, don't you?
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I'm here to do. You know, I come out here, do a lot of traveling, spend a lot of money to win races.
Hey, Hogger and Dogger, U.S. Off-Roads, it doesn't get any better than this. How you doing this week?
Dan, we are doing absolutely fine. Ready for another great night of off-road action here at Qualcomm Park in San Diego. And if it's anything like last week, this is going to be something. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Hogwood along with Scott Douglas. Welcome to Motor Madness. Last week was hot. Tonight's going to be something.
We're going to change the focus a little bit. We go to the handlebar divisions of the U.S. Off-Road Championship Series. In the Pro Quads, you just heard Tim Farr, who's guaranteeing the championship. He's got the lead, but watch for the defending champion Mark Earhart, who's fourth. And in the second five, Corey Ellis and others will try to take advantage of tonight's action. Thunder Bikes, Chris Knox, the early season leader, but there's Spud Walters, the defending champion, poised to move up. And again, several top contenders hope to make up some ground here in San Diego.
It's going to be fun. Another night of Motor Madness here on TNN. We'll watch these guys get some air and fly around this track in a moment. And a big night here in San Diego. What we have for you tonight? Well, the Pro Quads and the Thunder Bikes. And this is something to watch. These Pro Quads, four-wheel, all-terrain vehicles. We got both 2- and 4-stroke engines allowed here. And these guys know how to ride these machines.
And, of course, Thunder Bike action coming up tonight. Basically, 650cc maximum. These guys really fly over the jumps, and especially watch them on the tabletops. Let's take a look at the exciting course these guys will run on. There's the tabletop jump that gets us started right after they come off the start line. Now, they'll go through the hairpin turns and then over the double jumps. That is a very critical part of the course. Another hairpin turn and on through the ski jumps. The ski jumps can sometimes determine who wins or loses because you've got to set up for the final turn and then onto the tabletop jump at the finish line.
Well, let's catch you up on where we are in the Pro Quads, and we started in St. Louis. Tim Farr in number 3, who's the current points leader, was the winner of that very first race in St. Louis. We have run 5 races so far this season, and Tim Farr has been the man so far.
And this was the way you want to start if you're going for the championship, a win in St. Louis, but it was the Hick, Jeremy Schell, who took it home in Houston. However, Farr was back on top the following week in Minneapolis at the Metrodome.
Yeah, Farr's had a great season so far. Corey Ellis in Anaheim was the quad to beat. This was really a great race in Anaheim. Is a lot of side-by-side, some flips as you see there, and these guys were going for it all. Joe Bird turning it over, and he wasn't happy, but it was Corey Ellis who went on to victory in Anaheim. But it was in this race that Tim Farr took over the points lead.
He's been able to keep it since that point as well. But first, Ellis gets the win in Anaheim. You got to finish strong and consistent like any type of racing, whether we're talking NASCAR, whether we're talking IndyCar racing, or whether we're talking the U.S. Pro Off-Road Series. You've got to be consistent, and Farr has been. As they moved on to Phoenix in the Bank One ballpark, Travis Spader emerged as a new guy to watch. The number 93 quad was tough all day.
Everybody thought coming into this 99 season that Travis Spader was going to be somebody who would make his mark, and he did in Phoenix, winning the race there, and that catches us up pretty much to where we are here in San Diego. Let's take a look at some of the race strategies, how it works.
Pretty much you have to study the guy in front of you. If you do start mid-pack, you got to watch his lines, remember where he went each lap, and try to definitely use a different line. You can't pass him if you're following him using the same line.
And then you run like a scared rabbit the whole 10 laps or however long the main event is.
Sometimes you got to be a little aggressive and help him move out of your line.
It'll stand out like the really aggressive driver. You know, you can see he's trying to make things happen. He's not just following the leader or, you know, for whatever position they're battling. He's looking around. He's showing them a little bit here, showing you a little bit there, trying to force the guy in front of him into making a mistake.
Seems like most of the passing are in the corner, so it pretty much seems like the first person on the brakes is going to get past. So you pretty much got to hold it on as long as you can. Hopefully you can make the corner and get out as fast as you can.
Hopefully I'll be the guy with the whole shot, and I'll be running like a scared rabbit, and I'll be the first guy to check the flag.
Oh, we're going racing when we come back. If Tim Farr do it again tonight here in San Diego, we'll see. Coming up next on Motor Madness.
The 60s were a time of social unrest and powerfully...
World Tour comes a-calling. Log on at pacemotorsports.com.
And here in San Diego, they're fired up about the Pro Quad. So are we. Hey, Tim Farr is going to be the guy to beat tonight. He is with Dan Moriarty. How about it, Dan?
Tim, how's the course?
Oh, the course is great. You know, they went watered a little bit before we went out, so it was a bit slippery, but other than that, it was really good.
The points race so far, how's it shaping up?
Well, I've got a 9-point lead coming into here. Jeremy Schell's in second. It's getting tight, you know. I mean, it's a pretty fair lead, but, you know, you can't slack any.
Of the top 20 drivers, is there anybody that you, week in and week out, have any fear of?
I wouldn't say fear of. I'd say the toughest competitors would be like Jeremy Schell, Shane Hitt, Travis Spader, Mark Earhart. You know, they're always right in the front.
Well, Tim Farr is ready to go out of Ohio. Been racing 10 years, these quads. Second year racing in this series. He'll be tough to beat, I think, Scott.
Getting ready for the green flag, heat number 1, and we'll see how Farr can get it done right off the bat. Looks like, though, Goodman got the whole shot in the 708 quad, and indeed, it will be Harold Goodman leading into the first turn.
Goodman out of Michigan, but watch out for Farr. And again, the place to pass is on some of these tight turns as they come up over that tabletop jump, and there you see the first of those little sweeper turns. But Farr has broken out into the lead. Boy, these quads can get some air, can't they, Scott?
Shows you how tough Farr is. It didn't even take him a lap to get the lead, and that's why Tim is in pursuit of a championship that he guarantees he's going to win, as we've been documenting throughout tonight's broadcast.
This just the first heat of our Pro Quads tonight. We got a lot of this kind of action of these ATVs, and these are the best in the country if you're driving these things.
Tim Farr, number 3, looking for the pole position. Now remember, the first heat winner grabs the pole position for the main event, and on a course that is, of course, very tight. And, you know, you've really got to be able to get the whole shot if you're going to win the race. Tim Farr has now given himself a great shot because he's going to be on the pole.
Well, Tim Farr and Harold Goodman are 1 and 2 in heat number 1 here in San Diego. Let's move on now. Heat number 2, we're ready to go.
Well, Jeremy Schell, the Hick, is in heat number 2, so he and Farr did not collide head-to-head in that first heat race. They will in the main event as long as Schell makes the field. Lining up, I love the start. You get everybody up at the line at the same time, and they just explode.
They have to. Remember, that whole shot is so important. Who gets to that first turn first? And it is Steve Owens, number 11, who gets the whole shot, and he is going to be tough to beat.
The Californian got the early lead, goes over the tabletop, and here comes Schell, the number 4, moving up. Jeremy almost and does fall off the bike. He almost went over.
You could see that coming. He got a little bit out of shape, then that front wheel hit on another bike, and Jeremy Schell, one of the favorites here tonight, in a bit of trouble. Now we move on to the final lap, and that is Ryan Dietrich out of Kansas with a pretty comfortable lead. Ryan Dietrich, somewhat of a surprise here in heat number 2. What a great performance Schell did after that mistake coming back. Jeremy Schell finishes 3rd, and there's Steve Owens coming home 2nd.
Still amazing as much time as he lost to be able to almost reel Owens in for 2nd. Jeremy Schell is tough. He's going to be tough all night.
We'll watch him a little later on tonight. We got more Pro Quads coming up here on TNN's Motor Madness. Stay tuned.
When you combine...
Watch Little Tiger. What a night that truck had.
Brian Barthel getting it done. Then Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter getting the win over Ground Pounder. You can see the big guns advancing, but so was Little Tiger, which set up a semifinal matchup against the Gravedigger. And watch this upset.
Gravedigger favored, but Little Tiger runs away with it. And you see something come off of Digger's truck there. He broke on the run.
We'll get another look at it. He was fine in the air. The Little Tiger beat him straight up, but boy, on the landing, you can see Gravedigger is done for the night. And Little Tiger moves into the final against Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. And just to complete a night of upsets, Little Tiger beats all the big boys and wins it at the Georgia Dome.
Congrats to Little Tiger and a few freestyling moves from Carolina Crusher.
Oh, the fans love this. Always a couple of donuts left in Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher.
Great night in Atlanta. Time now for our Jargon Jam.
A double jump is pretty much like a tabletop with no dirt in between. It's two jumps. You're trying to take off from one, obviously, and land on the downside of the second one.
Tonight there's two doubles right in a row. We kind of call that the double-double. And some guys I've heard talk like the hot dog section, maybe get a little stylish or do something fancy there, and maybe that's where it comes from.
Pace's Peak is pretty much just a tabletop on steroids. It's a little bit taller, much bigger lip, throws you a little bit higher. You can whip the bike sideways, and it's a lot more fun.
It's kind of a modified tabletop because it is flat on top, but the takeoff ramp is bigger. So it actually goes up and then kind of drops down, and then the second half of it's kind of like a tabletop. But it throws you up there pretty high.
These guys get a lot of air. There's Jeff Seagot, one of the favorites here in heat number 3. We'll see here, Scott, who gets the whole shot.
Seagot's a guy you got to keep your eyes on out of Ohio, but also the dog. Shane Hitt's in this heat. Let's see who gets to the corner first.
I believe it's going to be Hitt. Shane Hitt gets the whole shot there and is out in front in that number 2 quad.
Seagot's right there with him, though, as you can see. He's not letting him get away, hanging with him. But the dog is always tough to pass. He protects his line beautifully. And watch him in the turns. Keep the momentum up and then really hammer it as he goes through the jumps.
Shane Hitt's out of West Virginia. Been racing these quads for 10 years, and he is good at it.
Flying through the air as they head for the checkered flag. And once again, Seagot trying to track him down. But Shane Hitt, the dog, just got too much. Shane Hitt will advance to a front row ace starting position for the main event coming up later.
Let's take a look at the results here from that heat number 3. Shane Hitt, Jeff Seagot, and Josh Frederick will all be advancing.
We'll move now to heat number 4 as the action gets ready to start. Joe Bird in this heat, and Jimmy Stevenson as we look down the list. Several of the top competitors, so there's no drop-off as you go through the heats and the level of competition. They kind of split the field evenly through the heats.
And again, that whole shot is so important, as you see, trying to make it up to that top 3. That's who's going to advance on past this heat race.
Well, Johnny Gallagher got the great start as he gave it a beautiful shot, but he couldn't hold the lead as Joe Bird was able to make the move. Number 204, Joe Bird in control.
Joe Bird out of Union City, Tennessee. Has to be one of the favorites here tonight out in San Diego.
Well, there you can just see the way they were talking on the Jargon Jam, the way he gets it down, able to spin in the air, give it a little style coming over the tabletop. Joe Bird, obviously another guy to watch as we get to the main event later.
Joe Bird, Jimmy Stevenson, and Steve Bielman all will be advancing on. Those 3 will be watching a little bit later on.
Heat number 5, and here we go. And you see an explosive start right there, especially for the number 7 quad of Travis Spader out of Russellville, Alabama. Spader, who we showed you earlier tonight, has already got a win this year on the U.S. off-road circuit, trying to come up with a victory here. He's got the lead.
Spader has made some noise in this circuit in 99, and it looks like he's going to do well tonight as he comes away with the win in heat number 5. Travis Spader, native of Alabama.
Holds off the defending series champion Mark Earhart as Earhart came on strong, but only could get the second. Richie Owens, your 3rd place finisher.
And those are the results from heat number 5. We'll be back We'll take a look at the Thunder Bikes here in San Diego. It's coming up on TNN's Motor Madness.
We're gonna
catch you up now on our Thunder Bike series here in St. Louis. Todd Downs in the number 80 bike was the winner. He had quite a run there in St. Louis.
Got to start in the TWA Dome to get it going. And again, you want to start out on top, but as it moved on to Houston, it was Dave Shade, number 22, coming up with the victory. Spud Walters, the defending champ, won the third race of the year.
That was in Minneapolis. Here we move on to Anaheim, and keep your eye in the middle of this pack on that number 1 bike. That is Spud having a lot of trouble.
Indeed, and he was not able to get the victory. Number 99 comes through. Mike Haley takes home the victory in Anaheim, California, which then sent us over to Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix.
And it was in Phoenix where it was a nice comeback by Spud Walters. It shows why he is a champion, because he can come back from trouble one week, and the next week he really ran well, went on to win there, and set us up here in San Diego.
Well, you know, the whole season has been a comeback for Spud Walters after that championship victory, and, you know, able to come back from serious injuries in the offseason, and look at how strong he is right now.
Yeah. Spud Walters winning in Phoenix, and as Scott said, quite a comeback story for Spud.
You won this last year.
Yeah.
Coming back after a victory like that, season victory, what's the pressure like?
Basically, I got a big bullseye on my back. You know, everybody's out, you know, after the number 1 guy, and you know, so it's tough. But you know, I gotta just hopefully ride my own race. You know, just stay out, you know, away from you know, all the other riders, and hopefully I can win tonight.
You talked about having a bullseye on your back.
Yeah.
After winning it all last year. What happened in the preseason that kind of set that back a little bit?
Yeah, well, I was actually getting ready for this series, and I was out, actually racing, and in practice, I landed on a hay bale and punctured my lung and cracked 4 ribs. So I was in the hospital 8 days. This is the last weekend of December, and I missed the first 2 rounds because I was still in the hospital, and you know, I came back. The first couple races really sore. My ribs kind of hurt, but I got a 1st and a 5th, and actually felt pretty good. So, you know, I'm 100% now, and feeling good.
It's great to see Spud back, feeling good, ready to go. And we'll go racing on the Thunder Bikes when we return on TNN's Motor Madness.
Is the battleground. All you need is a ticket, and you can grab them before they're gone at www.pacemotorsports.com.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Tonight we are in San Diego, and that is Chris Knox himself, pumped up. Spud Walters right beside him. This is going to be a pretty good heat right here.
Certainly do. They've got, as you can see, just a huge field in this heat race, and several of the top contenders for the championship are running right off the bat against each other, trying to earn a spot in the main.
And again, just like in the quads earlier in our show, making that hole shot is awfully important. Look at the air that these bikes get as they go over that tabletop jump and then come back around. It is incredible. Number 92 there. That is the bike of Donovan Mitchell out of Orangevale, California.
Mitchell's got a great start, but look who's dogging him. You know, when you've got the defending champion, Spud Walters, coming after you, you've really got to stay focused. That's what he's trying to do right now. Let's see where Walters sets him up as he comes into the inside on the hairpin turn. He's going to keep playing that line.
Hairpin turn is where a lot of these passes are made, and where you really get the momentum to make the pass as you come down the straightaway and then over these tabletop jumps.
Well, just a great battle in this first heat race. Right off the bat, the intensity is up there because everybody battling for the championship, wanting to get that points championship. And indeed, Walters would love to win it again. He's 3rd in points entering the action tonight.
Spud Walters. We heard about the great comeback story, and it certainly is super to see him out here just running and running so well. Here he sets him up on this hairpin. Kenny just slipped a little bit and couldn't make the pass.
You know, he had him set up, but indeed he got into him a little bit. And so when Mitchell slipped, he couldn't take advantage of it because the bikes actually made contact. There it is. He's going to keep playing that line, and there it happened.
He set him up on those hairpin turns, as we have seen so many times in this event. And it is Spud Walters, series champion, who's in the lead. He's going to be tough for Donovan Mitchell to catch. Tried right there on that hairpin turn. That is where they're making the moves. Just could not do it.
Very impressive run by Mitchell out of Orangevale, California, because going up against Walters, you're going up against the best. And you can see Spud ended up stretching it out and doing a little styling and profiling as he crossed the checkers.
Had some fun taking the checkered flag, and why not? After all he's been through, it's great to see him back. And here's that pass one more time.
He had set him up for it, as we were talking about, Mike. Lap after lap, he tried to make that move. Finally, it stuck.
Spud Walters, our winner, and Dan Moriarty had a chance to talk with him.
You won the first heat race. How's the course?
It's awesome out there. It's actually kind of slick. I had a little bit of problems the first couple laps and passed the leader, Donovan Mitchell, and just kind of rode my own race and just felt good. So I pulled away a little bit.
How are the ribs?
The ribs are good. They don't seem to bother me. You know, once they get going, I just kind of focus on riding and don't even think about the ribs. So they're good.
So they no longer exist when you're putting the pedal to the metal?
No longer exist. You know, I forget about everything. Just concentrate on riding hard.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, thanks a lot.
You got it.
Right on.
Spud sure left no doubt he's back at 100%, winning the first heat over Mitchell and Duba.
Yeah, we've got a lot more Thunderbike action to come. We got our second heat race. That'll be coming up next, right here.
When I was a kid, I'd eat
Monsters as they invade the Midwest this July. Terre Haute's getting ready for a battle royal July 16th and 17th at Vigo County Fairgrounds when the Monster Jam Summer Slam World Tour comes a-calling. Log on at pacemotorsports.com.
Now here in San Diego, let's take a look at what happened in heat number 2. The first thing was Scott Myers couldn't get his bike started, but he did make it up at the last minute.
Got some help from Spud Walters in the tunnel. Actually got him on the course, and then he came out and got off to a great start to get the whole shot and take the early lead. Now, in this second heat, you'll see, as we talked with Spud earlier about the slickness of the course, it jumps up and bites two riders right here in the turn.
Yeah, this was a problem and a tough night for those guys because only the top couple will advance on. This is a heat race.
And you can see Chris Ridgway, who was one of the guys who went down, now all the way on the tail of the field, and it's just tough to come back through this many bikes in a heat race.
And look at the 29 bike, Scott Myers, who got help, as we said, from Spud Walters. His dad raced, got him started, the California native. He is way out in front. There's the battle for second.
Mike Healy on the inside, and the outside is Robert Naughton, and these two go at it throughout the entire run. And then we're going to watch a nasty spill for the number 96 of Dustin Nelson out of El Cajon, California. Close to home, but I'm sure the family got a little worried about that one. He pops right back up, though, and he's okay.
These guys are so tough. I mean, there's no seat belt, no cushions, no nothing. When they go down hard. And there's the checkered flag, and it is the 29 of Scott Myers, who went on to take first in this heat.
Probably the key to the victory for Myers after a great hole shot was this crash on the first lap. The slick course just bit a couple of riders, and Myers went on to a big win.
Indeed he did. Scott Myers, our winner, and let's go hear from him right now.
Well, I'm doing pretty good now. Boy, I was having a hard time down the tunnel there. I was kicking my bike for a long time. I couldn't get it started. I don't know why, but luckily my friend and teammate Spud Walters came out there after he won his heat race and started my bike for me. So I was so tired. I just I didn't have anything left in me.
Now wait a minute, Spud, your biggest competition, this whole group's biggest competition is over helping you get your bike started.
Yeah, pretty much. I stopped him when he was coming out of the tunnel. I said, man, you got to start my bike for me. I didn't know what else to do. I was just stuck. I was just so tired of kicking it, and I don't know what happened. It just coughed one time. I already had it started, and all of a sudden it just died.
What does your heart do when that happens?
Oh, man, let me tell you. I couldn't see out of my goggles. I'm just sweating, and actually I think it was kind of good. I think it got my heart rate going so good up there that I think that's one of the reasons I won. I was like ready to go. I was so tired already. I was kind of have my heart rhythm going fast, you know, so.
You also forgot about the race itself and didn't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true. I just kind of went up there and went, let's go. Let's get this over with, man. I was already stressing out enough about that. I wasn't stressing about the race anymore, so it's kind of good.
Well, now, you're going to have to go neck and neck with Spud, you know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we do it every weekend, so. Unfortunately, you know, he beat me last weekend. He got first, I got second, but I beat him in Anaheim, and hopefully it's come my turn again, so we'll see.
We'll talk to you later on.
All right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Scott, what a story, huh?
Absolutely. We are going to see Myers battling head-to-head with Walters soon.
And we got the Pro Quad main event coming up on the way on Motor Madness. Hang around. Let's back on Motor Madness. We're ready for the Pro Quad main. These guys got to be in great shape. More on that from Dan, who's with Tim Farr.
You've got to have great cardiovascular. You have to be really strong, you know, hard-willed. You can't go into a corner, let someone push out. The whoop sections, the tight corners with the ruts in them. And, you know, when you're sitting on a machine that weighs 340 pounds, it's putting out around 60 horsepower.
Yeah, you do have to be in really tough shape. And there you see all the guys who have made it here to the main event. And that's a victory in itself as we try to see who gets the whole shot.
Probably the most interesting thing out of the starting lineup was Jeremy Schell, a top contender for the points championship, has to start off the back row. You'll remember his spill earlier, but he still made the main. He's got to come from the back, though. Speaking of spills, already a couple of them over on top. Number 91, that's Jeff Seagot. He is already in a mess.
It's not for the faint of heart here tonight, as you can see. These guys, intense. They are determined. There is a caution waving in that one corner.
Notice that the caution is not a full course caution. It's only in the corner where we have the problem. So they keep racing everywhere else.
And racing out to the front is Tim Farr. That is the number 3. Behind him, the number 7 is Travis Spader, who would have, I think, the best shot to catch him in this final.
He's trying everything he has. He's really using it up. You can see the dog Shane hit number 2 coming on as well. But right now, Farr is just so smooth. As you take a look at the way he works the bike, he comes over the jumps, just has everything really under control at this point in the race. You know, he really believes that he can't be beat. That's why he's guaranteed a title.
I was going to say, he might live up to that guarantee that he told us before this event started that he would win this title, and he certainly is the points leader now and has won a couple of events and is in a strong position to win here tonight in San Diego.
You know, we've just passed the halfway point on the Pace Motorsports U.S. Off-Road Championship Series, so if he can get a victory here tonight, that expands the point lead and get the lead bigger and the races fewer. He really is knocking on the door of the championship.
Travis Spader out of Alabama in the number 7 quad has a lot of talent, a lot of ability. But it is going to be tough for him to catch up to that man, Tim Farr. Who, as we jump ahead to the halfway point, it is Tim Farr who is comfortably out in front right now.
He can't check out. Spader's keeping him within his sights, but certainly it's going to take a major mistake by Farr, I think, for him to be able to give up the lead. Spader will stay there, but he's not gaining anything at all on Farr.
As we watch him work this bike on the final lap, you can really see that conditioning that he was talking about with Dan Moriarty a little while ago. I mean, this is incredible. This guy's in great shape. He's got that bike well under control, and I believe he's going to do it tonight.
Strong and smooth as much on the last lap as the first. He takes the checkers. Even though Spader did get to within a quad length, not enough. Tim Farr back in the winner's circle.
Tim Farr out of Ohio is our winner here tonight in San Diego. He is the points leader and has his sights set on the 1999 championship. Now let's hear what the winner tonight, Tim Farr, has to say. Dan Moriarty had a chance to talk with him.
Joe Namath, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. I told you.
You told me, you delivered, and when you deliver, you get to talk all you want. That was one heck of a race, and the same guy now who beat you last week is on your tail this week. He's a rough ride, isn't he?
Yeah, he's tough. You know, I was close with him last week. He got the start, and I came out second, and we stayed pretty even the whole way, just like it was today.
You feel pretty good about your ride, or are things you can improve on?
I'm just glad it's done. I was tired.
Now, I saw you when you finished, before you got off the bike, shaking your hands a bit. Why would you do that? Tell the people back home.
Trying to get the pump out of them, you know, stretch them out so they aren't sore tomorrow.
You get little twitches in there from driving so hard, so long, so fast?
Yeah, because you really can't let up on your grip. You've got to hold on as tight as you can the whole time and just, you know, hammer.
Feel good?
Yeah, it feels great.
I'll bet it does. Congrats to Tim Farr.
He wins it. Spader officially second, then hit. The dog got up there in third, as you can see. Jeremy Schell still battled his way from the back of the pack to get a strong 6th place finish, but he falls now to 18 points behind Farr in the standings.
Tim Farr is our points leader. Coming up, we got the finals in the Thunder Bikes. You don't want to miss this on Motor Madness. Let's hear from Chris Knox.
Since the bikes are all really pretty fast, it seems like most of the passing are in the corners, so it pretty much seems like the first person on the brakes is going to get past. So you pretty much got to hold it on as long as you can. Hopefully you can make the corner and get out as fast as you can, since everybody's pretty quick down the straightaways. That's most of your passing is in the corners.
First of all, you try and be the guy with the whole shot, and then you run like a scared rabbit the whole 10 laps or however long the main event is. You know, strategy, if you get a bad start, then you've got to kind of think about what's going on and who's around you, and it helps to know the riders and their personalities to know what you can and can't do. So, you know, that's where strategy, I think, comes in. But, you know, hopefully I'll be the guy with the whole shot, and I'll be running like a scared rabbit, and I'll be the first guy at the checkered flag.
All right, there is Doug Dubach, number 6, and we'll see. They're the guys who are in row 1, and I would say that one Brian Spud Walters have to be a big favorite.
Starts on the inside, and he's going to really try to explode off the gate. But, you know, everybody wants the whole shot, so we're going to see who can get it.
Well, let's watch the start and see who gets there first.
I don't really think you can separate them. 3 or 4 get out to a great start. And indeed, Walters is one of them, but he's in the middle of a big mix right now.
It is his teammate, Doug Dubach, in the number 6 bike that is out in front at the moment. And there's a little mess on that hairpin.
Already lost one rider, but Dubach's out front. Now he gets his chance to try and run like that scared rabbit he talked about a moment ago.
Doug Dubach and Walters are teammates. Both consider each other their top competitors in this series. And you heard him talking a moment ago. Once you get out there, you run like a scared rabbit.
Scott Myers, the man trying to chase him down right now in the 29, who's been tough all night, but he can't seem to really reel Dubach in. Doug's having a great run so far. Look at these guys get the air.
I love it. That's what I love. Watch them get the air. And you know what? These guys love it too.
You can see every now and then, especially when a guy gets out front, he may try and style and profile a little bit. It's a little early to hot dog it, though. Dubach knows he's got a long way to go. Yeah, there is a long way to go. And, you know, we talked about conditioning earlier in our program. These guys got to be in great shape. There's a couple of laps around here, and it just really wears on the body. I want to give a call to Donovan Mitchell. Had a great run earlier. He has moved up into 3rd place out of Orangeville, California. Didn't get the greatest of starts, but he ended up moving into 3rd at this point in the race.
A little bit of a challenge here again as they come around those hairpins. We heard talk, that's where the passes will occur. And as when they slow down and who can outbrake the next guy, that seems to be the big key here in the Thunderbike. And for the leader, for Dubach, you see, he's got to protect his line. He just cannot afford to slip in one of those hairpin turns, because that is indeed where Myers will get him. Here's the battle for 3rd place. That's Dustin Nelson trying to get in there on the 96 with Mitchell, and man, it got ugly. It did get ugly a little bit. Donovan Mitchell, number 92, gets off his bike. Well, indeed, 96 got 3rd, but Mitchell's going to try and come back through the pack now. Dubach continues to stay away from all the mess, though. He's got the lead and is really cruising at this point, although Myers is not letting him get out of sight. Yeah, and some of the fans here chanting Dubach, some don't bach, but I'm sorry, it's bad. Doug Dubach out in front. 2nd place continues to be Chris Myers, and now in the 3rd spot, as we told you, the number 96 of Dustin Nelson out of El Cajon. Hadn't called his name much tonight in the heats or here in the main event until that move against Mitchell. But again, close to home, wanting to do good. You know, there's a lot of family in the stands, and he's really trying to move up. He's looking impressive into 3rd, but you know, you just wonder if he's got anything for Myers or for Dubach. And that was a really impressive move he made, too, because when it comes down 2 bikes, one of them's going to survive, one of them doesn't. It takes a lot of courage and skill to do that. And Dustin Nelson has really moved himself up to challenge up into 3rd now. But Scott Myers in the 29 bike has his sights set on Dubach right now, who is running a magnificent race here. At this point, I really think Doug's going to have to make a mistake, because Myers has given it everything he's got, and Scott just can't seem to reel him in. Doug Dubach is just having a beautiful run right now. The lines are clean, getting good, smooth air. The landings have been beautiful, and the main key, he is not losing anything in the hairpin turns. Scott, what amazes me is when I watch these guys go over these jumps, whether it's these small jumps or the tabletops, they seem to land the same place every single time. There we see the signal for halfway through, Dubach out in front. Just incredible.
You're right on it, Mike. They actually even shift their weight at the same points. Watch them as they go up to jump and where they actually physically lean over, where they move their weight back and forth, then where they land. Even the way they set up the jumps, they're trying to run the same line every time, and that's what Dubach is doing so brilliantly right now. Every lap seems to be a carbon copy of the previous one.
As long as Doug Dubach continues to do this. There's our points leader who's back in the pack a bit.
12th place right now, so Chris Knox having a hard time coming through the field. Got a lot of ground to make up, and indeed, he only had a scant lead coming into tonight's action. So Chris Knox really needs to get on through the field, and he's not making up much ground right now.
All the guys up front really seem to be holding their line, running their line well, and as long as they do that, it's going to be tough for anybody back a bit to catch them. There you see Chris Knox holding off some competitors. There's some guys who are nipping at his tail.
You know, this Pace Motorsports U.S. Off-Road Championship Series has just created such a tight battle. So many great competitors from all across the country. You really get the best of the best, and that's what we're seeing here. And again, that's why the points battle is so tight right now. One week, you know, it's Walters, and obviously this looks like it's Dubach's night if he can hold on the rest of the way.
Well, Dubach, who we talked to before the race, said the key was getting out in front, and once he was there, he felt he could stay because you just ride like I like this term, a scared rabbit. That's what you are. You hold the line and go like a scared rabbit. And I think there is a different strategy when you're leading and then when you're chasing.
No question about it. And as a matter of fact, in the chase position right now, Myers has fallen so far back, he really is not going to even be there should there be a mistake. Dubach is in great spot right now. He can do everything except fall down, I think, and hold the lead at this point.
That bike immediately behind him is a lapped bike. It was Donovan Mitchell who had that spill a little while ago.
Yeah, bad break for Mitchell. You remember at the time he was running third. Now he's just been lapped after his incident with the number 96 bike of Dustin Nelson.
Well, that's a beautiful shot. And when we had that wide shot of our track here in San Diego, incredible.
2 to go. As you can see, they give the 2 flag signal to your leader, Doug Dubach. And man, is he just having a nice Sunday afternoon cruise right now, because he is out driving.
Not often that you have a race like this, and these riders all say this is what you live for. You like these kinds of nights, but they don't come around too often because the competition is so intense.
No, absolutely, and that's Dubach is going to really appreciate this one. But he talked about that scared rabbit theory. We've hit it a couple of times, and that just goes to show you he has not let up one iota. He knows if he lets up what's going to happen. That's those other guys are going to reel him in.
Well, it doesn't look like they are here tonight. Qualcomm Park in San Diego. White flag is out for Doug Dubach in the number 6 Thunder bike. He can make it around one more time. He'll have a victory here tonight.
The number 96 on the move now. Dustin Nelson has been able to move himself up into the 2nd spot. There were a couple of lap bikes in between him and the leader, Doug Dubach.
Well, one bike has stalled out on the track, but it is not going to hinder Dubach at all. He is well out in front of any trouble. Just has to maintain his line now and keep it going. Still is riding with the same force and determination that he did on the first lap.
Same thing we talked with Tim Farr about after the Pro Quads. You know, right now is where the arms are tired, the hands are getting numb because they've gripped the steering wheel so hard, but now you can really relax and you can see the salute as he sails across the finish line. Doug Dubach, the winner at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego on the U.S. Off-Road Championship Thunder Bike Tour.
Well, congratulations to Doug Dubach. Let's take a look at that trouble coming back in. Donovan Mitchell had some real problems.
This was a battle for third, and you can see Mitchell was in the rut right there, but the 96 just got a piece of him as Dustin Nelson made the move to get the 3rd place spot, and that was all it took. Mitchell goes over. That cost him a chance not only at the victory, but to get a good finish. I'll tell you what, it's amazing he came out and didn't get hurt.
He went a lap down, and Doug Dubach takes the checkered flag. What an exciting night it has to be for him. Dan Moriarty had a chance to talk with him.
What'd you do besides stay out of trouble to win that?
I'll tell you, that's just about exactly what I did. That White Brothers Yamaha YZ400 got me out front there. Not clearly out front. We were rubbing there for the first couple laps. It was quite an intense race. I'm just happy to be out here, and I guess I was the strongest because I survived.
When you're out in front that long, how often does it go through your head, man, they're right in my tail?
Oh, about every 10 feet. I don't know. You know, it's always harder to lead because, you know, your braking points and your angles into the turns, you know, everyone else can play off of you. So, yeah, it always puts a little extra pressure on you, but I was able to maintain it, and I knew I could just keep my lines consistent every lap, and, you know, I could come home the winner, and so it worked out great for me.
I mean, talk about lines. On this course, there is one line and one line only. So being the lead guy is a huge advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I'll tell you, I felt a lot of rubbing and bumping going along into my rear wheel and my foot peg, and I was a little nervous for a while.
Oh, I never saw any of that.
Okay, maybe it was just the ghosts and the gremlins playing tricks on me.
There was a lot of it going on behind you, but you kept them there. Good job, Doug.
Thank you very much.
Hey, guys, back upstairs to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan. Here are our results. Doug Dubach, the winner, and Dustin Nelson. What a run.
He did get up into second, and Myers held third. There you see Spud in at the number 6 spot, and you notice that big spill by Donovan Mitchell knocked him all the way out of the top 10. Chris Knox still holds the point lead, though, by 20.
I don't think there's any doubt about our Maalox minute. It is Donovan Mitchell. Oh, this spill. Tough on him. He was able to get back, but finished a lap down. Hey, let's go back down to Dan Moriarty.
What a night. Tim Farr delivers. He's the Joe Namath now of quads, the first guy to win 3 races this season. And controversy in the Thunder bikes. But you know what? That's pretty awesome. You got to have that. From down here on the floor, guys, this U.S. off-road, it's one heck of a time. Hope you had as much fun in the booth as I had down here. You guys, take it away. We'll see you next week from Indianapolis. I won't be there, but the Wild Man Birds will take over. We're going to talk about the flag with the monster trucks. I'm telling you no more. That's it. Steve will tell you the next week. That's right, the flag is very important. Guys, see you later. Have fun without me in Indianapolis. I know you will. Bye.
We'll try. I don't know if we'll be able to, Dan, but we'll try. Steve Burns will be with us next week in Indianapolis. Hey, log in to country.com. It's your personal source for all things country. For Scott Douglas and Dan Moriarty, I'm Mike Hogwood. We have had some fun here tonight in San Diego. See you next week from Indy.